Poker face.
Meeting of the Board of Education order. Our first item is the agenda. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Second item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the regular meeting on September 30th, 2024. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Board members, we have one recognition tonight. It's a great Melissa McIntyre's with us. Come on up, Melissa. Share with everybody a little bit about Melissa. She is come over here. We'll get you right on the camera. She is the music teacher at Vestavia Elementary, Rudy Park, and has been doing that for several years, but has had some accomplishments in her life. One most recently that I want to talk about. She's been actively involved in the Alabama Music Educators Association. And I believe you directed the annual event in 2021. Is that about right?
I've directed the Elementary Music Festival since 2019.
Okay, good deal.
Yes.
And are we performing this year? We have some performing groups at the annual festival.
Not my group, is no.
We've had some before.
Yes.
Yeah, we have. So you might remember, Melissa, back in February, we brought to introduce you as Teacher of the Year at Liberty Park. And so those accolades continue. She was recently named as the Lacey Powell Music Educator of Alabama of the Year. And that comes from the Alabama Music Educators Association. It's a very prestigious award named after a gentleman who was the president for a couple of terms there. So just quite an extraordinary accomplishment and recognition. Tiffany, Mayor, principal's here tonight. You want to offer some words?
Yeah, I know everybody has great people in the building, but I hope you have them on McIntyre. She wears many hats, not just with music, but she helps with our logistics team. She can come up with a schedule like that and actually likes it. So that's good. But even this past Saturday, Melissa hosted on our campus the AMEA state conference.
It was just this, it was an elementary music workshop for the state elementary music.
So see, there's so many things we can't even keep up. But she holds more groups after school and is not necessarily compensated for it, but it's because she loves kids and loves what she does. And creates opportunities for them, so we're very proud of you.
Thank you.
The previous last year going to one of her productions, and it is quite a production. I was impressed with a lot of things, but the young lady that sat out and played the piano and accompanied the choir, I thought was extremely impressive. This is elementary school. That was really good. So you just use the kids in all sort of ways, and I bet you know a little bit about that, don't you? Mark as well. So any comments you want to make for the group?
No, I just appreciate you recognizing me and supporting music education and the arts in our system.
Yeah, board members, any comments?
I was just gonna say, yeah, my daughter was done Talladega Singers. And,
Yes.
That's a whole animal coordinating that. But we've gone and enjoyed that, and my children have all been fortunate enough to experience your teaching, so thank you.
Yeah, Melissa's a gift to the school system, so happy to have you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Board members, we will move now to our financial statement.
Good afternoon, board members. I provided the September 30, 2024 financial statements and check register for your review. As of September 30, 2024, which is the last month of our fiscal year, we have collected 114.7% of our budgeted ad valorem tax revenues compared to the 109% we received last year at this date. In September, we earned $123,060 in interest income on our treasury sweep and for a total of $1.484 million for this fiscal year in interest income. Our total expenditures and transfers out in the general fund as of September 30 were 106.4% of our budget compared to 105.3% last year. This year we paid off a bus lease and our Chromebook leases early. And being September 30 is the last month of our fiscal year end, our ending fund balance is estimated to be at $15.4 million, which is about 1.8 months of our fund balance reserve. And we did not renew our line of credit in October due to our improved fund balance position. Our monthly financial statements and check registers are available for viewing on our website upon board approval, and all bank accounts have been reconciled as of September 30, 2024.
Thank you, Courtney. Board members, I recommend approval of the financial statement for September 2024.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation to approve the financial statement for September 2024. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, consent items. Board members, I recommend approval of consent items, which include disposal of board property. That's a school bus from 2009, various textbooks, and then in-state overnight, out-of-state, and out-of-state overnight field trips.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation to approve the consent items listed in the agenda. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Okay, thank you. Under business, item A, I recommend the board approve the contract with Centegix for emergency communications services.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation to approve the contract with Centegix for emergency communication services. Do I hear a motion?
So,
Do I hear a second?
second.
Board members, you approved this bid last month. This is just finalizing the contract piece, and we will be moving forward on this project.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Item B, I recommend the board approve a bid in the amount of $136,234.80 for garbage dumpster service.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation to approve a bid for garbage dumpster service. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Item C, I recommend the board approve the contract for garbage dumpster service.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation to approve the contract for garbage dumpster service. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Moore has done this for years with us and will continue to do a really good job, so we'll recommend to them. Item D, I recommend the board approve the contract with BSN Nike.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation to approve the contract with BSN Nike. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
All right, I want to pause just a minute here because this is a really good contract for our athletic program, and ask Coach Miles to be here tonight just to mention a few key points out of that. But of course, contract people can see, but would you just talk a little bit about the benefit this brings to our program?
Yeah, it's better than the last one we had. It's actually financially it's stronger for our middle schools as well. I think it's one of the best. You'd have to look really hard to find one throughout the state any better. And I think it's a tribute to the relationship our coaches and teachers have had through the years with Nike and BSN. And it's rewarding when they come to us and want to up, and I don't have to stomp and throw a fit. So it's really good. I feel really good about it.
It is, and provides significant amount, as you see, of cloth, et cetera, for our programs. And it goes without saying that operating any kind of program is very expensive, and this is an extracurricular program, so it has to generally fund itself. And what I appreciated about Meyer the last 3 years is creating a really strong business model around this. So we do a lot of fundraising, a lot of parents do a lot of things, but it takes extraordinary amount to get things done in a first-class way. So it's a really good contract. So well done on the negotiation.
Thank you.
I'd like to say that the part of what this allows us to do is to make sure that our student athletes experience from 7th grade all the way through senior year is a fun one, and is an enjoyable one, is a first-rate one. I was talking with the coaches earlier, I guess last week, and we were talking about how because of what we're doing on things like this, they can get new uniforms for the middle school students so that they have an experience and feel like, hey, we are in a first-class program. And I take that as a contrast to when I was in middle school, and we got the hand-me-downs from the varsity, so they were either 3 sizes too big or they were about 20 years old. In fact, my first year, we had shorts that still had belts on for some of our players. And so I appreciate this approach that says, look, every one of our student athletes is important, and we want to make sure that they all have good experiences and not just those at the varsity level. So thank you.
Well done. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. Item E, I recommend the board approve the advanced placement psychology textbook.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation to approve the advanced placement psychology textbook. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 8 is personnel, and I recommend the board approve the following, the items and personnel as submitted.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation to approve the personnel items as submitted. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Board members, before we get into our administrative report, which is on STEM, I wanted to introduce another one of our teachers, librarians, who's with us here tonight. And I just did not see her in the audience, but I'm real glad she's here. So I had some good people prompting me. Miss Shelley Jackson is with us. She's a librarian at the freshman campus. Come on, Miss Jackson. Been with us for now a couple of years, and it does a great job. If you go in there, you feel like you're at home, and the music's playing, and there's nice smells and whatever's kind of things. But she was awarded recognized this year for 2024 Herman Moore Lamp Award, which recognized that as outstanding service to Alabama libraries, and that's quite an accomplishment. So I want you to just share a little bit about where you've been before coming to Vestavia Hills.
I initially started in a small town called Sumter County, Alabama. I don't know if anybody's familiar with Livingston, New York, Alabama. But that is where I got my education and my start. I have been in education now for 27 years. I was a kindergarten teacher and a third grade teacher before I became a media specialist. I've worked in Sumter County, Fairfield, Jefferson County, Hoover, and my last final home is Vestavia.
Yeah.
So I enjoy
We're thrilled you're with us. Mr. Mann's with us as well. Any comments you want to make about Ms.
Yeah,
Jackson?
I mean, the heart of that award is just exceptional service, and you kind of hinted at it. When you go in there, she's really focused on making an experience for the students to make the library a place to enjoy coming. And we tweaked some things this year that she comes in a little earlier this year to have students, when they come in the morning, to have a place to go in the morning. She's got obviously the books, the computers, all the studying stuff, but there's puzzles, there's all kinds of things set up so the kids can go in there and just have a good experience, and it does smell nice too. Right? I don't know what the secret is, but she's got some magic going on.
And one of the things I appreciate about what she does and all of our librarians she represents really well is it's still an important place in school. Despite all of the technologies and things we have, it's still important. Kids still want to be there. It's a congregation place and a collaborative place and a learning place. So I'm glad that you make it welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I look forward to meeting you.
Okay. Oh, absolutely. Thank
All
you.
Members, we have a presentation for you tonight on our STEM program in elementary grades, and I'm privileged to have Brooke Wedgeworth and Jason Bostic with us, and they're going to be presenting this. We wanted this to be an update for you because of the investment you have made as a board in our K-5 STEM program. So I appreciate the work they've done putting this together. It's a really good presentation, so take it away.
Good afternoon. We're excited to talk with you about STEM today. I think this is something I could talk about forever, but we won't today because it's a little hot in here. So, but it is. I mean, it's something we were
We
able.
wanted you to feel the way you feel. They don't get to go home.
Our STEM students are going to design a product to fix this. So, it's part of the presentation. But anyway, I am excited to talk to you about STEM, which we were able to launch this school year, something that we've been eagerly anticipating for a few years, talking about planning. And so we're excited that it's actually happening this year. So of course, we want to start with our mission, and I feel like our elementary STEM program really, to me, highlights so many of the pillars of our mission statement. And I could talk about all of those, but I think to me, what I want to highlight is igniting curiosity. And I think if you go into any of our STEM classrooms, which I will definitely invite you to do, and we can set up visits whenever it's good for you, but I really think the kids we're igniting their curiosity. So if they're not already curious, the different things that are happening in those classrooms will certainly encourage that. So this is our district's definition of STEM, an educational approach merging science, technology, engineering, and mathematics to foster critical thinking, problem solving, and the application of these disciplines into real-world situations, encouraging innovative solutions. You can see the pictures are actually of some of our very young students engaging in different STEM designs. Again, some of our very young students. So this is our vision that was established when the STEM teachers and I really worked together to say, what do we want to see in our STEM classrooms this year? So robotics for all grade levels, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. STEM lessons using defined learning curriculum, which provides project-based learning, or if you hear PBL units for us, embedded computer science standards. So we have, in our state, we have computer science standards, and those are required to be taught in elementary schools. And so our wonderful librarians have really been doing a job the past few years of trying to integrate those, but now we have those in our STEM program. Career exploration, so they're also getting that exposure to careers in STEM through those project-based learning units, as well as our fifth graders will participate in a STEM expo this year. So they'll really get to see all of that in action. And then we're also looking forward to partnerships with our high school students, so high school science and engineering classes. In these videos you can see, or one's a picture, one's a video. The picture is actually of a kindergarten student, and he is working on, he built a shade structure for an animal, and so they had a whole intro to this. It was some farm animals, and they needed a shade structure to protect them from the sun and the environment. And so kids were able to design a prototype for that and then actually test it with a flashlight, which ties to their science standards. That's what you can see on the left side. And on the right, the video you saw is Vex Go robotics in action. So that's called like a creature crawler race. And so the kids have to build each of those Vex Go robotics, which I will say is very complex. And if you don't build it correctly, then it doesn't work. It also integrates coding. And then once they build those, they were able to choose one of their creatures to participate in the race. So that's what you saw in this video, would be the kids racing their creatures. So just a few facts that you may have heard before, but what does STEM look like in our community in Vestavia? So 4 in 10 residents have a STEM degree. 1 in 3 of our graduates are majoring in STEM at Alabama and Auburn. And 1 in 4 of our residents work in a STEM occupation. So as you can see, based on these numbers, we know that it's such a big thing in our community and what our students want to pursue even after they graduate, that we need this. We had a great need for this to really start encouraging and fostering this at the elementary level.
All right, so now we're going to take a little dive into data. I'm not spending too much time, but I wanted to focus on our ACAP summative, and that should say grades 3 through 8, not 2 through 8. Spring 23 for math, 24 for math, and spring 23 science and 2024 science. The next, and I'll get to the data here in just a second, but the data I'm pulling from is from the State Department website. It's published for grades 3 through 8 for the public to see from there. But first, before I get into that, when we talk about ACAP and data, and I've presented on this before, there are 4 different levels that the state categorizes how students perform. You've got level 1, which is the student has minimal understanding of grade level standards, likely to need additional support at this level of learning. That additional support might mean we might need to add some more progress monitoring or additional intervention, additional teacher support. Maybe they're not getting those standards just quite yet. Which is the same for level 2, where they move from minimal to partial understanding. And where we want to see kids, and what the state says is mastering of grade level standards is level 3. And that's where we want to see a good majority of our students. You also see a level 4, which level 4 is going above and beyond what the standards are asking the students to do. It's more of an advancement of what exceeding what the standards are asking them to do. So on the next slide here, we can look at our math, ACAP summative math. And again, this is grades 3 through 8, and just kind of seeing from 23 to 24 that we are continue to make progress in being proficient. Looking at levels 3 and above is proficiency. And so here we have in 23, we were at, for math, or not 23, 24, we were at 71% proficiency, so we grew from the previous year in math areas. In level 2, our goal is with STEM as well, just working with STEM, we want to see our level 2s go down and increase our levels 3 and 4. And STEM is just one little component of that, in addition to all the great work that our teachers are doing in the classrooms too. So that's the math portion. And then if we move on to science, you can see performing very well. And let me just say with science is only assessed for grades 4, 6, and 8. Those are the only 3 that are assessed, and then it's reported to the federal government for grades 4 and 8. So this is just representing grades 4, 6, and 8. And you can see as far as levels 3 and 4, our kids are, very proficient there at a 78% proficiency on this part here. Go to the next one. So we think about STEM and ACAP and, what's the correlation here? And we want to get to the part where, with ACAP, through the use of STEM and implementing STEM, that our students using those foundational skills and critical thinking abilities, which ties into when they get into ACAP. Go to the next slide. There are benefits of STEM, and there are 5 main points I wanted to point out to you. Strengthening conceptual understanding. STEM encourages hands-on learning and real-world applications. And what a great way of learning by bringing the real-world applications part. Help students deepen their understanding with math and science concepts, and which are essential as part of performing on the ACAP summative assessments. Then we have developing critical thinking and problem-solving skills. STEM classes emphasize interdisciplinary projects and require students to analyze problems, test hypotheses, and think critically. And on ACAP, they're also required to interpret data, recognize patterns, and apply logic with that as well. Enhancing engagement and retention. STEM classes are often more interactive and engaging, which increase student motivation and improve retention of material. Then we have improving digital and technical literacy. A lot of STEM activities incorporate technology, such as coding, simulations, digital tools. And a lot of the tools that students use on ACAP, which is an online assessment, there are digital tools that they have to use and manipulate when it comes to graphs and answering questions in that aspect. And then we have promoting collaborative skills. The STEM education frequently involves group work and collaboration, helping students develop communication and teamwork skills. And working with a team, collaborating with others, learning from others, learning new ideas, being taught a different way to retain that information the goal is to help that with ACAP also to retain as they're answering questions for this assessment in that. Go to the next slide. So by integrating STEM, we want to create a dynamic learning environment that supports the types of skills and knowledge assessed on ACAP, boosting student confidence and performance on the finalist of the summative assessment.
So now we're going to talk just a little bit more about what does STEM really look like now in our elementary schools. So these are our 5 STEM teachers, and I do want to highlight them because they are amazing. And I tell everybody who will listen how great they are, because what we have and what's happening in our schools would not happen without the 5 of them. So they were hired late spring, I think it was the end of April, beginning of May. And several of them didn't even really know each other, had been acquaintances. And so all of us were able to come together. We did some STEM visits, quick little meeting in May. and then met for 2 days in June to start planning. Like, what do we want? What is our vision for STEM? What do we want? What are those experiences that we want our kids to have in the STEM classroom? And everybody was just quickly on the same page, and all had a really amazing background that added to that. So Noel Bradshaw has been teaching for us. She was actually been a 4th grade teacher for us at West. Hattie was teaching at Cava Heights, I think mainly, or lastly, 2nd grade. Katie McDaniel was teaching 1st grade at Dolly Ridge, also had some upper elementary experience. Martha has taught upper and younger elementary for us at Liberty Park, as well as piloted the STEM program there for a couple of years. And then Billie Jean taught 5th grade for us at Central and at East. And a couple of them have worked at STEM camp. So they just have a really interesting background, and all of their perspectives and experiences just really helped to form just an amazing team. So with all of us meeting, the excitement was there, and we just quickly started putting a plan into place, and they really have worked to create an amazing scope and sequence for the whole school year. We didn't want our kids to have one STEM experience, so just to get coding or just to get robotics. We wanted them to be able to see all aspects of STEM and hopefully find something that appealed to them. So I have to shout out them. Hey girls, you're watching on YouTube. I'm sure they're not. Okay. Anyway, robotics. So I have mentioned a few of these, but these are the 3 robotics that we're using currently in our STEM program. We do have aspirations to continue to add to the experiences each year, but we have Blue Bots, and those we're going to use primarily for our youngest kids. So it's really an intro to coding, intro to robotics. Vexco we're using more with like our upper or middle to upper elementary kids, and you got to see Vexco in that video. And you can do so many different coding, robotics, STEM type things with it, engineering, and then Spiro, which you can really use with all students, and that's what you see in the picture and in the bottom one as well. And they're actually, I've seen these in action too, but they're currently working, I think this week, most of them are on about the same page of a tractor pull. So they're using Spiro to create a tractor to pull a pumpkin. So lots that goes into that, again, coding, engineering, design process. So just a few more of our STEM standards in action. So on the right side, our tiny little kindergartner is also testing a shade structure like you saw one of the earlier ones. So that's, again, a project-based learning experience. So that's one of the experiences where our kids were generally incorporating in some of their science standards, some math, and they're able to build a prototype, they test it, then they might redesign as well. And so that's what you see on the right side. In these other 3 pictures, our kids are doing a Mars or a space mission. And so I'm going to try to click on that second picture. We'll see. Yes, thank you. So I just wanted you to see, and we hope it comes up. Oh, it does. And so, Brendan, if you'll use the arrow in the corner of space travel, we can just kind of briefly go through that. This is one of our project-based learning units from Defined Learning. So it starts with an introduction video that you can show kids, because it's like, this is why we're doing this. This is what you get to do. Okay, you can click again. They make a real-world connection, which we want kids to have. Same thing, real-world connection with some questions. Then they use this goal, role, audience, and situation. So really establishing for the kids, what's your goal, who's your audience, and that's a quick little video too. Another little check-in, keep going. Research, vocabulary, constructed response, so they're able to write about it. So we're bringing in that literacy writing component as well. Okay, so I wanted to stop here because this is where, and we can customize these, which this is one of the ones we've actually customized and the kids have been doing, but they're able to choose and make choices about the product. So again, we're giving kids choice. And these are the choices that they could do: a drawing, a prototype, do it as a presentation, and then I think you can click on the next one. I keep clicking, sorry. And so ultimately, what our kids are doing, and if you go back to the picture, in the pictures you can see the kids are creating, so they were basically going to Mars, and they had the choice to either create something to protect them, some type of shelter, or even some type of something to protect them. So like you can see these kids created an arm. So again, they all created different prototypes that connected to this mission and then connected again to our science standards. So that's just a few of the STEM standards in action. And lastly, we want to thank our partners. So we actually had the opportunity to meet with our partners back earlier in the fall, let them see a little bit about our vision for STEM. They were able to meet and talk with our STEM elementary teachers, ask questions. They offered suggestions and advice. And we're very thankful to them because we know without our partners, this STEM program would not be happening currently. So we're very, very appreciative of them. Even if you kids are very, very thankful too. So visiting all of the elementary schools, talking to friends with kids in the elementary schools, going into the STEM classes, the kids are loving it. And they are talking about STEM and what they're doing in STEM and the fact that they don't want to stop and leave when their time is up. So for that, we are very thankful.
Great. Thank you, guys. So in the spring, I think we'll bring to you a report of secondary STEM, and then bring to you some reports on arts and humanities as well, just to get a whole picture of the things that we're doing in addition to all of our required standards that we set forth in our schools. So very good. Thank y'all. We appreciate it.
Thank y'all.
All right. Okay.
Now we get time for public comment. Is there anybody that wanted to speak? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So,
Your second,
second.
all in favor? Adjourn. Thank y'all.
Yes,